men who are not familiar with Christ are unable to effectively love?
I think Christ gives man gender exclusive, male and female. Christ, the Bible, the context of Christianity, gives man the best values and principles to live by. Period.
Sure.
Period. My view.
You said it.
And everybody must pick their view. And that's the beauty about living in.
Okay, yes.
Are you with me?
Your perspective.
Are you with me? We are on Perspectives with Gwen, right? That's my perspective, man.
Yes.
And that's the beauty about living in a modern world, a liberal world that does not seem to subjugate or suppress ideas. So you are entitled to your view, and I am entitled to mine.
Yes.
Right? So that's my view. And let me have my view, and you have your view.
Yes.
Now, I spoke earlier about listening. If we're going to solve some of the critical issues that we have in the world today, it's going to be by our ability to sit down and have conversations, have dialogue. Let's talk. But to talk, you need to listen. One of the biggest problems is that we're talking to respond, not talking to hear. Listen. So we can talk, we can debate issues. We can sit here and go, by the way, don't debate on issues where you don't have data.
Sure, okay.
So everyone wants to debate, but what's your point of reference? What information are you drawing from? Or are these just opinions?
Sure.
So let's sit and debate, like let's talk, let's have conversations, but let's debate, let's have conversations at a certain level, guys. So there must be a pool of knowledge that we are pouring from, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is get informed. 1.1. Get informed.
Sure.
I don't go around talking on social sciences. I don't go around talking on healthcare. I don't go around talking on science. I have a sister who's crazy about science. And there's a difference between, see, I don't even know the words. There's a difference between science in the world, in Earth, rather, and science in the universe. They call different things. And there's different laws and principles for the different sciences. You don't hear me talking about that because I know nothing about science.
Sure.
But if you want to talk business, let's talk business, let's go. If you want to talk strategy, let's talk strategy, let's go. If you want to talk leadership, let's go. Because I am informed on these ideas, topics,
Sure.
right? So if you want to talk politics, there's no problem. Let's have a debate on the political climate, which is critical. Let's have a debate on it, but let's get informed. You want to debate with no data, just want to.
Okay. I need to build their social media, so I'll get a snippet on TikTok, I'll get a snippet on Facebook, I'll get a snippet on Instagram, and then I'm like, I got my data. Let's go.
You see, so I love it. So Charlemagne the God. I don't know if you're familiar with him. The Breakfast Club, one of the biggest shows in America.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. And he says, and tell me what you think about this. He says, people, one of the biggest problems today is we go to social media to tell us what we should be thinking. Stupid example. And let's use it because it's relevant. Now you're going to be shocked that I'm using this example because we're out here talking about this in leadership. Apparently I'm the serious guy. But the serious guy knows that I listen to J. Cole. J. Cole and Drake, J. Cole and Kendrick are in a beef right now. Well, J. Cole apologizes, sharp. But Charlemagne the God says this. So let's take that as an example. So everybody goes to social media on that case to be told how they should feel about the matter, right?
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? So we use social media to tell us how we should feel. People no longer have the courage to stand for what they do feel. So we go to social media to see what's popular, what the majority is saying, because then we're safe. And we are not, oh, that's what everybody's saying? Okay, that's how I feel on this matter. Because we no longer have the courage to take a stand for something. So we go to social media to tell us how we should feel. So J. Cole apologizes to Kendrick. People go to social media, the majority are like, this is rap, this is hip hop, how can you? Where we come from with the hip hop culture, no, if we're dissing, we're dissing. If it's a beef, it's a beef.
Prolong it.
Then Charlemagne the God says, as a man, I see hip hop, but as a man, I respect that decision. Because J. Cole was saying that I moved in a way upon reflection. Now we can argue whether we really believe him, but that's not the point. He says, I moved in a way upon reflection that in his view, he didn't really want to move in. And later on, he was just reflecting. He's like, I don't want to be this guy. This doesn't feel right with me. So let's cut this. But the world wants a beef. We want a beef. And we go to social media to tell us how we should feel. I think if we're going to be effective people, take a stand. Have an opinion. Have an informed opinion. And then take a stand. Take a stand for something. And it can't always be popular. Because that's also not leadership. In fact, the best leaders are able to make the unpopular decision and stand by it. If you can't do that as a leader, then don't become a leader.
Okay, so you say everyone is a leader, so you'll just become a bad leader.
Yeah, you'll be so I mean, when I say don't become a leader, I mean in the context of like a business, government, president, minister. If you can't take hard decisions, and so somebody says everybody wants to be the CEO until a tough decision needs to be made. When you become the CEO, we make you the CEO not to make the 90% of decisions that the organization can make. We give you the title CEO to make 5% or 10% of decisions that the 90% of the organization cannot make. Everybody wants to be a leader until a tough decision needs to be made. If you can't make tough decisions, if you always want to be popular, then don't become a leader. Steve Jobs says, leadership is not about making people smile. You're not selling ice cream. So yeah, I know that was a long segue and diversion and.
Let's go to what do men really want? And one, what do men really want from society or life? Secondly, what do men really want from potential lifetime suitors?
So, there's two things I don't like doing. Number one, I don't like speaking in general terms.
Okay.
Because I think it's a problem when we begin to generalize, and we like generalizing a lot today. Now, there are majority instances, minority instances, sure, but I don't like speaking in majority terms. And another thing is the question that you just asked, in my view, is subjective to a large degree, right?
Give us your perspective.
Thank you. Believe me, I was. So it's subjective, and I think, again, and I'm a huge advocate of this, is have your view, let me have my view. We can sit around the table and discuss and have dialogue and engage. We can agree, disagree. We don't do that enough. Let's do more of that, but sure. But let's have views, right? So that's a subjective question. What do people What men need is trade vocation, work. And not only will you not be a happy man, but a happy person, period, really, if you don't have meaningful trade, vocation, work. They need love. Now, men don't want to talk about it, but you need love. They need support, especially men with vision. So TDJX has a book and it's called Disruptive
Thinking.
Yeah, thinking, I think. He talks about this whole idea of being a disruptor. Yeah. And he says one of the most important things that a disruptive person needs, a disruptive leader, but specifically in the context of a man, is support. So you need a wife or a partner who can genuinely support you in what it is that you're trying to achieve. Especially if it's disruptive. Because the word disruption inherently suggests that it's unheard of. So you are crazy. So I can't come home to somebody after being told 24/7 out there, ukuthi ngiyahlanya. And I come home to a woman who's telling me she's echoing the same sentiments.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I would say this, I would go so far as to say that if you cannot support somebody who has vision, wants to push the boundary, challenge the status quo, disruptive, then don't put yourself in a situation like that. Because a person who is of that nature is going to need somebody who can be supportive and understanding. But I think what's very important here is that two things. You can't give what you don't have, but you also can't receive in a healthy manner what you don't know. So we talk about love. That is one of the things that I said, men need love. But if you as a man haven't taken the time to reflect and introspect, go through your journey of healing from your pains, from your hurts, and understanding this conversation around manhood and masculinity, then you can get what looks to be love, but is not love. Because number one, you don't know what the thing looks like.
Sure.
And number two, you are in no position to receive it. And on the flip side, right, Gwen, somebody can love you with the genuine thing, the thing that is right. This is love. This is what it looks like. It's healthy. And you can't receive it because you haven't done the work. Do the work. And sometimes doing the work is not just gym and work, your vocation, trade, your occupation, whatever. Sometimes do the work is get into a room with a trained professional who knows how to deal with issues and deal with your issues. Because if you haven't taken the time to, as I said, introspect and self-reflect, then you won't be effective, period, in any of these areas that we've touched on as a man. Do the work. Take the time. Get away from everything. Sit alone. Sit alone in silence and quiet. Get away. See that? Just have that. Sit with your thoughts. Sit with the scariest of them. Sit with the nightmares. Sit with your terrible decisions. Sit with the consequences of those decisions. Sit with everything. Confront them. Sit. Be quiet. Confront. Do the work. Here. Do the work. And we not only have men, but we just don't have people anymore who are doing enough of that work. And so it is the work that we do in private that prepares us for public success. So if you're not willing to do the work in private, then why are we having a conversation about public success?
Yeah.
What's more important than a door, an opportunity being opened up for you, to you, is not only your ability to walk into that dimension, into that space, into that room, to take up space, but your ability to sustain that. And you can't sustain that if you haven't done the work. Do the work.
Do you think we understand the concept of love and romance? Are we confusing the two?
That's a beautiful question.
Do we have it right?
That's a beautiful
Can we
question.
get it right? What exactly is the difference?
That is a beautiful question. That is a beautiful question. People that have been married 30 years, two things. One, it's not always been cute. I love it. So just this past week, I was listening to an interview, Michelle Obama, Jay Shetty, and Michelle Obama was talking about her marriage with President Obama.
Yes. I
right?
think I heard a snippet.
Great episode. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it after you listen to this episode. Perspective with Queen Danko. And she says, I've been married to this man, I think they've been married for 30-something years? She says, I've been married to this man for all of this time. The biggest misconception of people always want to paint the idea, relationship goals, that it's always been cute, that it's always been fun, that it's always been nice, lovey-dovey. No, it has not. In fact, she says something like 5 years, or an extended period of time, was terrible.
Sure.
But they married.
Still married.
So let me tell you what was not there in that time that was terrible, was romance. But you know what is still there? Love. Now the problem is that we always want that stuff. We always want the cute stuff. We always want the nice stuff. We always want the romance.
Yeah.
What happens when all of that is gone? Now, don't mishear me. This is important. Romance is critical. Don't mishear me. As a man, pursue your woman. Pursue her. Those things are important. You know, chivalry. Is it dead? Should it be dead? I don't think so. Pursue your woman. Vice versa. Women, support, love, care. That romance should be there. It's a real thing. It is a critical aspect to the institution of partnership or marriage, really. It's critical. But it is not exhaustive. It's not just that.
Yeah.
There are other aspects that make a proper functioning relationship, partnership, friendship, marriage.
Yes.
Friendship is key.
Yes. I agree.
Statistics show, by the way, that more and more we have less friends. This generation and Gen Z have less friends. And more as the generations go, we have less friends than what our parents and what generations before us had because of the advent of social media.
Yeah.
Because we've begun to live in this fake reality. So I have X amount of friends online, and I get this amount of likes and this amount of views, and that's the stuff that fuels us and drives us. But who are your friends?
Sure.
So statistics show, research shows that as the generations go, we're starting to become more isolated. We have less friends, less companionship. another issue all on its own, discussion for another day. But romance is an aspect of it. It is not it. And what happens when you remove the romance? What happens when problems come in? Because problems will come.
Yeah.
One of the best things that you can do as a person is not shy away from challenge. Because it is the stuff that challenges us that forges and cultivates and creates the character within us.
Sure.
So if you're forever running away from, shying away from challenge, you are, down the long run, you are hurting yourself. You're not helping or assisting yourself. Problems will come, and that's okay. When the problems come, invite them. Now, of course, it's not always nice. It's going to be tough,
No, it's not.
but go through it. So Steve Harvey says the worst, if you are in a messed up situation, the worst thing, hey man, you are in it, you might as well get to the other, go through it. You're already in it. Then he says something amazing, get something for your pain. What's this guy's name? E.T. His name is E.T. Check him out. He's an amazing speaker in America.
Sure.
E.T. He says, get something for your pain. Right? Hey, guys,
Yeah.
it's been tough. You know, you're going through something, it's rough.
Yeah.
Let me get something for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right, guys, it's
Yes.
fine. Like,
I said to my friend, funny enough, my other friend, I spoke to her as well.
Sure.
I said, if you're going through something, yes, the pain is there,
Yeah.
but also the thing you can't run away from is the fact that now you have courage, now you have resilience,
Come
now
on
you have
now.
tolerance.
Talk to me.
Now you know, and that's going with you as well. Yes, I have
Talk
the
to me.
experience of pain, but
Yeah.
also I have the experience of having courage, and I'll forever have it.
what did it give you?
You know.
What did the experience, what did you learn from the experience, from the time? But E.T. says, get something for your pain. Like, and you know why that's so important, Gwen? And keep doing this, keep diverting. But you know what that's so important? Is because we currently live we have a current context in this country, in South Africa, and I would argue in the world, where we are at loss. We need hope. People are going through a lot. From a commercial environment perspective, we know the numbers. Economic growth is sluggish. Ridiculous unemployment. What should definitely be called the crisis at this point, youth unemployment. It's tough times. People need hope. And so, going through what you're going through, but go through it, man. Get something for your pain. And I'm an optimist at heart. And so I'll always come with that perspective to say, there's something at the end of this.
Yeah.
I would want to get to that something. And then for visionaries and for dreamers, I would rather live with knowing that I tried than live with the regret of what could have been. That's for a dreamer. That's for a visionary. Rather live with the reality that you tried. Wahluleka.
Yeah.
Than with the regret of never knowing what could have been. That's for a dreamer. That's for a visionary. Because nothing worth having comes without some kind of cost, trade-off. There's an opportunity cost to everything. There's a trade-off, there's a sacrifice. Nothing great comes without these things. I even forgot our question.
This is awesome. Are you happy with modern day 21st century men?
No. And I'll tell you why. And it goes back to everything that we've touched on, literally in this conversation. So you could view this component or aspect of what I'm going to say as a succinct summary, if you will.
Okay.
No, I'm not, because men have to do more work, right? So you can't be an effective man, in my view, if you don't have a keen sense or great sense of self-concept, right?
Okay.
Self-assured. But you only get to a space of having a healthy sense of being self-assured or self-concept when you are self-aware. And that touches on what we're talking to. Do the work, right?
Yeah.
Self-aware, right? So, who am I? I didn't ask what you do. I asked, who are you? So we like saying today in Dota Mast. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We love that.
Yeah, of
Very English,
And of course you
Yes,
must.
my girlies.
Okay. and what do we say? What do you bring to the table? Vice
Yes.
versa. You know?
Yes.
So, who are you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And have you taken the time to sift through and work through these different layers that form the makeup of who you are? Where do you find your value? Big problem for men is that we find our value in material possession. So when I take away the house, the nice car, and the money, what are you and who are you? Is that the stuff that defines you? Is that the stuff that you draw value from? Or is there something deeper, better, and greater?
Yo.
You get to find who you are when you have nothing. So I said, don't run away from challenge. Don't evade. Don't shy away from challenge, from pain, from life. It's because it is in those times, in my view, when there's not much happening, where you get to discover your value and your worth. As a leader, as a man, as a person. When not much is happening. Problem is we're not doing the work. And so men get their value from material possession. Not all men, but a lot of men. It's pervasive. That idea is pervasive sort of in society today, right? So.
But do you blame men? Maybe let's look at it this way. As a man.
Beautiful, by the way, and I love that.
As a woman, for me, and also most women in society today, I will measure a man by what he can buy me, do for me materially.
Yeah.
Can he secure me a house? Can he secure me a car? Can he buy me flowers with money, roses with money?
Yeah.
You know, all of those things. So modern day society and modern day men also have, I'm going to say pressure for the lack of a better word.
Fully agreed.
But women also have those expectations for men. You know, we also say, I want indoor depth. That must be able to provide materialistically.
Let's be very clear. You must be able to provide. Let's be very clear. You must be able to provide, because we said the word providence is broad. Security, financially, emotionally, there's other aspects. But providence is key. It's the backbone of this conversation, if you will. That's fine. So let's be clear. You must be able to. But does that stuff define who I am? That's the question. So we must separate issues. You must be able to provide. to be an effective man in society today, provide security, provide emotional stability, provide leadership, provide in the sense of finances. Providence is key, right? But is that what defines who I am? Because I'll tell you where the problem comes. Is then you hit a patch where you can't do these things.
Yes.
Now who are you? Where do you extract or get your value from now? That these things, it's a patch, remember, it's a patch. Life is a journey.
Yeah.
The human experience, it's a journey.
Yes.
And there are gonna be patches.
Yes.
There's gonna be times.
Yeah.
So what happens when that patch comes? In my view, men who haven't done the work, and this is not a justification, it is a description. Men who haven't done the work in those patches, abuse, verbally,
Sure.
emotionally. And do you know what's crazy? The man is fighting with you, but he's fighting with himself. Do the work. So let's be clear on that. I'm not saying that these aspects are not of key importance. They are. Providence is critical. And the word providence is broad. Again, I reiterate that. Financial, security, whatever the case might be. But those should not be the things that define me as a man. And those should not be the things that I get my value from. Because when those things are gone, you're going to have a problem.
Sure. Let's wrap it up.
Let's do so.
Let's wrap it up. The Impact Podcast.
Yeah.
Where do you see it going? And also, do you think, in a nutshell, because we're wrapping up,
Yeah.
do you think we have enough conversations? Do you think we have enough podcasts right now? And also, the Impact Podcast, what is it about and where are you taking us to with it?
So two things there very quickly. Do I think we have enough information? We probably have too much information in the world today. People have information overload. For me, the conversation is not just about having information, it's about having quality conversations and quality information. So information at a certain standard. That's one. Two, what we're trying to do with the Impact Podcast is very simple. We're passionate about people, business, leadership, development. We're trying to develop people. Right? We're trying to impact lives, hence the name, the Impact Podcast. That's it. And we're trying to have the kinds of conversations that do exactly that, from a business sense, from a leadership sense, right? But what's really important about it is because, for me, it's all about access to information, right? So we have conversations around business sometimes, around strategy, around key issues, around building a business in South Africa, in the context of South Africa. For entrepreneurs, for small business owners, for startup visionaries, right? Who come from disadvantaged or marginalized communities. The question is, do they have access to this kind of information? So let's create platforms that gives them greater access to this kind of information, right? So the whole conversation about information and access to it is a key thing, basically. So that's really what we're trying to do with the Impact Podcast, is just create a platform where we are giving people greater access to quality information, information at a certain standard, at a certain level, that can play an integral role in their leadership and development journey.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Just one more question before we go.
Sure.
Would you ever run for president?
You know how people say that there's always truth in a joke? My thing is, what's behind that question, ma'am? Why?
It's a very innocent question. So, Lugwazi, would we ever see you on the ballot papers and have to put an X on your face, or?
So for me, very simply, right, we know the corners of society. Government, business, civil society.
Yes.
I believe my role and my realm or dimension, if you will, to impact change and effect change is in the space of business. But because of the nature of society, these worlds are interconnected.
Okay.
Right?
I think I get my answer. There's hope. There's hope for South Africa.
I didn't say anything.
You see the accent? Do you recognize the accent?
What
guys,
just happened with the accent?
guys, please.
I'm thinking in Lana.
I got my answer. I think you also got your answer. Where can people find you?
I don't know if they got their answer. People can find me on social media as Sifiso Dube, SIFISO Dube _. Mainly active on Instagram. People can find me on LinkedIn as Sifiso Dube. People can find the Impvct podcast on all platforms. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And you can also find our website at www.impvct.org.com. That's Impvct with a V. Don't ask too many questions, but it's Impvct with a V.
I was actually going to ask this, but I was like, okay, maybe let's leave it for off air. But
Sure.
just tell us, because someone else will look for it and
Yeah.
see the V and be like, is it this one?
Yeah.
Or because Impvct
Fully.
is Impvct,
Fully.
but there's V for yours.
Fully agreed. It was literally. I even have no explanation for it. It's just one of those things. We're sitting with the team. We just wanted to call it contrarian, stupid for no reason, and we just made it Impvct with a V. And so it's Impvct with a V, IMPVCK. I mean CT. And there's Impvct Podcast, and there's the Impvct Organization. And the website is, like I said,
So is it also with the V on the website?
Yeah.
Hey, confuse us.
But to make it really easy, look for me, Sifiso Dube. Very simple. And you'll find everything.
The man himself, Sifiso Dube. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a great episode. Please check him out on his personal platforms and also his Impvct Podcast. So many great, inspiring conversations happening there. And till next episode, it's much love from me to you. Goodbye.